Hey guys, welcome to Fujifilm XH2S review. Oh, the shirt. You like it? It's No, not sponsored, not sponsored. It was No, I'm not sold out. It's just a shirt. What did you What's going on, guys? Brady Keegan. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking Fujifilm XH2S. And despite my t-shirt gag, it's not sponsored. I got it for free at a Fujifilm event. It is what it is. Get over it. Don't leave me hate in the comments. Or leave me hate in the comments, because all news is good news, right? Whatever. Let's get right into it with design, because let's be honest, if you're not inspired to pick up your camera, you're not going to. You got to be inspired by the tools you're using. Thankfully, this design is awesome. It's a nice blend between the classic Fujifilm design that's retro with a new modern look. You have one dial on top, which is a PCM dial with 7 custom functions. And let me tell you, these custom functions are massive for on-the-fly shooting, especially switching between video modes like 24 FPS, 60 FPS, 120. It's insane, and everything is fully customizable. Then over on the other side, you have the top LCD. It looks super cool, but I'm gonna be honest, I never look at it. It's a nice touch though. Over on the side of the camera, you have 2 card slots. You have a CF Express Type B, which is capable of storing all the higher workloads, and you have an SD card slot. On the other side, you got a whole array of ports, including full-size HDMI. I know this is a massive thing for videographers and video creators, so that's welcome. The design's honestly super reminiscent of the GFX line, and I got to hold the GFX 50S and 100S at the LA event, and man, let me tell you, those cameras are incredible. But this video is not about that. All I'm saying is, if you like the GFX design, you're gonna love this. Now with the camera, you can get additional accessories such as battery grip and cooling fan for the back. I don't think I'm ever gonna buy the cooling fan. I don't foresee myself shooting 4K 120 for longer than 20-second bursts, so that's just my use case. I know everybody's different. The battery grip though, it can hold up to 3 batteries, which is super nice. So if you need extended shooting, that's your grip. So let's get into the specs. And let me tell you, this thing is stacked, figuratively and literally. So literally, it has a 26 megapixel stacked BSI sensor. So if you guys don't know what that is, essentially it is a faster readout sensor. So if you're shooting sports or wildlife or anything fast movement at the 40 frames per second, this can shoot photos. Yes, 40 frames per second photos. You're not going to get the traditional warping you get in normal sensor cameras. So it's going to be a near instantaneous readout, and everything is going to be tack sharp. Insane, right? Now Fuji touts this as their X-Trans 5 sensor and their X Processor 5. Don't ask me what any of that means, I just know it's good. Now they also say they have 14 stop dynamic range in this camera. I'm not going to go through and try to prove it. You can watch a Gerald Undone if you want to. But let me tell you, just based on experience, the dynamic range is pretty killer. You can recover deep shadows and bring back lost highlights pretty easily. So there you have it. So now, like I mentioned, the whole purpose of the stacked sensor is for fast readouts. So this camera can shoot up to 40 frames per second photos in RAW with autofocus. It's pretty good. Now, you do get the best results around 15 frames per second, but honestly, if you're going anything above 15 frames per second, it's for a specific cause. If you're shooting sports, then that's your specific cause. If you're shooting literally anything else in the world, 15 frames per second is more than enough. This also has 7 stops of IBIS, which is in-body stabilization, so the sensor moves to compensate for your jittery hands. Again, I'm not going to go try to prove the stoppage. It works really well. And in combination with image stabilized lenses, it's even better. So I've had good experience with it. Essentially what you use IBIS for is for hand holding longer shutter speeds. So if you're below 1/60th of a second, even up to a 2-second handhold exposure, you can get sharp photos. It's pretty crazy. But where IBIS comes in handy is actually video. So that seems like a good segue to talk about all the video specs. So this thing's honestly kind of like a mini cinema rig. Seriously, like these specs are gonna blow your mind. Okay, so let's get into these specs. Hold on to your pants, this is gonna be a wild one. 6.2K 30 open gate, 3.2 aspect ratio, 4K 120, 1080 240 slow-mo, continuous recording, so no limits, 10-bit 422 ProRes internal to CF Express, let me clarify, RAW recording externally, and Blackmagic RAW. Blackmagic RAW. We shoot Blackmagic Ursa and Pocket 6K cinema cameras at the studio. and I can record Blackmagic RAW now into my Fujifilm camera. That's just insane. I don't know when I'm ever gonna need to use that or why, but the fact that I can tells you that Fujifilm is willing to give you all the options and not water itself down. That's pretty impressive. So honestly, I kind of leave this thing in ProRes Lite, and then I switch back and forth between standard profiles or log, just depending on the scenario. So what you're seeing right now is straight out of camera Eterna profile. If I'm doing any talking head stuff or vlogging, I usually stay in this profile just because it looks good. Saves me some time. I don't really have to do too much to it. Now, if you do want to get a little bit more dynamic range and get deeper into color grading, then there are 2 log profiles. Starting off with F-Log 1. This is a standard F-Log profile. This has been on Fuji cameras for years at this point. It has some pretty good dynamic range. Nothing crazy, but it's there. Now, F-Log 2 is a new kid in the school, and it is only available on the Fujifilm XH2S. This is what touts the 14-stop dynamic range. It's pretty good. Here's some footage of it. The issue I have with F-Log 2 though is its base ISO is 1150, so I tried to vlog on F-Log 2 to show you guys some examples, but it was impossible because I needed something higher than a 5-stop ND. So I'm not going to say this is really for vlogging, but for anything that's a high dynamic range scenario where you're trying to pull out more color depth, this is great. Now let's get into autofocus, the most controversial point about Fujifilm cameras. So coming from Canon, I arguably had one of the best autofocus experiences in a camera. For photo, video, really good, had no issues. For Fujifilm, it's a little bit different. So for photos, I pretty much leave this thing in continuous autofocus, and I have 3 modes that I switch back and forth between. The first one is Zone AF for anything that's unpredictable. Second mode is Zone AF with IAF, so that's pretty much what you're seeing now for head and eye tracking. It's really good, it's super sticky on the eye. And then I have single point autofocus for obviously the more meticulous things that I want to make sure I nail focus. Now for photos, autofocus is killer. I've had not a single issue and I've never missed a shot yet. It is nuts, super good. I would say it is 95% of what Canon is, and the IAF is probably better. So there you have it. Now where we come to an issue is video autofocus. So I've had to mess with things a little bit to get it to my desired style. If you guys saw the intro of my last video, it was kind of punching in and out, and that was just straight out of camera. It was hunting a lot. Now thanks to a recommendation from a friend, Joshua Martin, he works for Moment, Cine Dailies, go check him out, awesome creator. He told me to change a few settings, and that helped quite a bit. So now it's a little bit stickier on my eye. If things pass in front of my face, it doesn't instantly hunt to that. But it is slower to react, so it's a give and take. I would say for my use case though, the autofocus is more than enough for what I do personally for work and for YouTube, so for me, it works. So I'm not going to go ahead and say that this is better than Sony or Canon. It's flat out not. But it's good enough for talking head stuff, standard B-roll, the works. Do keep in mind though, it also depends on what lenses you're using. So if you're using older Fujifilm lenses or third-party lenses, you might have mixed experiences with hunting. On Fujifilm's newer lenses, which are the LM, the linear motor lenses, they're usually a lot quicker and pretty accurate. I'm running a Tamron 17-70 right now. It's pretty good. I've also heard Viltrox lenses are really good, so who knows? Play with the gear you have. Hey guys, forgot to mention this during A-roll, and I thought you guys should know. So something else I noticed is when you zoom in and out while filming video, the focus leaves, and sometimes it's hard to refocus without stopping the clip entirely. I don't know if this is an issue with the Tamron lens because it is a third-party lens, or if it is a focusing issue on the XH2S. Regardless, something you guys should know. So for personal experience, I really enjoy this camera. It's not without its faults, but I like it a lot. I think the grip feels good. I like the whole Fuji system and interface. I love the images that come off of it. The photos are just nuts. So good. The video footage looks super good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not without its faults, but it is what it is. So I'm not going to go ahead and say that this camera is for everybody. If you're looking for the autofocus king, Sony's still for you. If you're looking for maybe the corporate commercial king, Canon's probably the way to go. But if you're looking for the best all-around workhorse stacked camera, this is it. I don't know of any other camera at this price point that has this many specs and delivers the quality that this does. So for me, for everything I do documentary photography, landscape photography, sometimes some portrait and brand work. I work on YouTube videos and just random client work. This camera is more than enough for what I do. If you do anything specialized, you know, see where you're at, see what's best for you. Now in terms of lenses for this camera, this has almost everything that I need. Almost. So the one lens I feel like I'm missing is an ultra wide angle zoom. So in Canon, I had the 15 to 35 RF lens, which is perfect for vlogging. For this camera, the closest there is an 18 to 16 millimeter, which is perfect, except it's a bulbous lens, so you can't attach a variable ND, which means it's almost pointless for video. So the closest thing I could find was the Viltrox 13 millimeter, which I might get for vlogging. It's a 1.4, so all in all, I am extremely happy with this camera. I do not regret switching at all, and the Fujifilm XH2S has everything I need and more. Now, something that you might want to know is if you already purchased an XH2S or you're going to within the next month, they are giving away a free CF Express card, which is insane. That's a $400 value you're getting for free. So I would jump on that if you're thinking about switching. So thank you guys for watching. It was a blast making this video, and honestly, I'm not going to slow down at this point. If anything, I'm going to speed these up. I'm having so much fun with this. So if you guys want to support me, go ahead, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. So let's go ahead and make this tradition. This is my boy. His name's Waffles. Hi, buddy. Oh, he licked the mic. All right, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel for Waffles. Do it for Blue from last week. I got 2 more animals, so this is a credit scene. This is a post-credits. We'll just play with animals. Bye.